Welcome back to CoMind Sense. Growth comes with learning not to regret your trials that you go through in life. Today's conversation is for anyone who's ever asked, why is this happening to me? Or when will this season end? We've all experienced moments where life feels unfair, confusing, or overwhelming. And when we're in those moments, it's easy to believe that life is working against us. But what if your trial isn't there to destroy you? What if it's here to develop you? Today, I want us to talk about understanding trials and tribulations, not just surviving them, but learning how to grow through them. Now, first off, everyone has trials. One of the biggest mistakes we make is believing we're the only ones struggling. Literally. Of course, everyone has their own issues, everyone goes through things. Just like everyone has their own childhood trauma and everyone has their own sob story. We all go through things in life. No one is exempt from no type of hardship, money, success, none of that stuff stop us from going through trials and tribulations in life. Everyone goes through this, but the thing is, we have to learn from this. Just by going through it alone is not enough for you to grow through it. Going through it leads you to take action in order to grow through it. So, for instance, me. In my job, I had went to the night sort. I didn't start off on the night sort. I was on like more so of an evening sort. So when I got promoted, I went to the night sort. And when I tell you, that definitely gave me a big eye opener. It taught me a lot of things. Now, I have to go through a lot of things. I went through a lot of trials. Yes, most definitely. I went through a lot of trials. I had went through upper management trying to sabotage me. I went through difficult upper management. I had to learn how to deal with difficult people, moody people. And for me, those were a lot of trials. I loved my job, don't get me wrong. I loved my job. But because I did so good in my job, upper management and people around me often felt intimidated by me. And that was a trial I had to constantly fight through time and time again. That was something where I just couldn't understand, why is this happening to me if we're all a team, we're all trying to reach one common goal. So I just didn't understand that. But yeah, that was a trial that took me through there. But the thing was, I learned how to deal with these people. Because the thing is, when it comes to business and when it comes to your job, you have to learn how to keep things professional. You can't let nothing slip. So for me, I had to make sure I keep things 100% professional at all times. I couldn't have no room for error or for things to slip at all. Or, hey, they'll get back to me. And also just looking over people, because there were also people above them that actually knew what I was capable of and how I did things and what I was doing. So, keeping myself together, I learned how to keep myself together. I learned how to control my emotions, because there were times where I got really, really mad. I had to just walk outside and cry how mad I was. But I had to learn how to keep my composure. I had to learn how to not allow people to see my weakness. And that's really, really important in life. So going through all of those different trials on the night sort at my job helped me get to where I am today. Now I am confident in working with moody people, approaching moody people. Now I'm confident in being in an area or a space where people around me may be a little intimidated by me. I won't let that drop me. I won't let that stop me from doing what I'm doing. I've learned how to work through that to continue to walk into my purpose and do what I have to do. And that's one of the most important things. I've learned that pressure has a way of revealing what's already inside of us as well. And I will say, I I'm more so of a shy person. I am. I can be a shy person. But getting into those situations, you have to be bold. Not loud, but you have to be bold and you have to be firm. So that was in me, and that was something I didn't know that was in me. Learning how to be bold and how to be firm. I was always more so of kind of reserved, quiet person, pretty much only talk when spoken to, but learning how to actually put my foot down and be firm in my environment. That trial of being on a night store for me, that helped me walk through that. That helped me bring out what was inside of me. And that was important to me. Pain isn't wasted if you learn from it. So there were times where I was sad. I would call my mom and I was just upset. It was tons of situations where I was just plain out upset, felt defeated, all of that. But I think we become stronger when when we're willing to learn from what happened. So when certain situations came about, I had to reflect on that. How could I have avoided this, or how do I need to go about this? Not even avoid it. Not avoid it, but how could I have went about this situation? Once I start reflecting on things and seeing how I could have went about the situation, that's when things got easier and better for me. And also it teaches people around you on the outside as well to know, like, okay, well, I can't do this no more. I can't shake her like this anymore. Or, okay, just not even getting to her. So, yeah, that stuff is not wasted. Going everything that you go through in life, none of it is wasted. All of it leads to your purpose in life, or where you're trying to get to in life. Everything that you go through has a common goal. It has somewhere where it's trying to get you to. And also, now lately, this generation, they kind of like to rush the process. So this generation wants everything quickly. I'm talking about quick success, healing, money, answers, but growth doesn't work that way. So again, referring back to my situation, on a night sort, I had been there for a year and I have learned a lot. And the thing is, I've been on the night sort for a year. I could have been left the sort. I could have been moved back to the sort I had came from. I could have been did that. But this journey of learning how to deal with people has taught me a lot. And I have grown tremendously to the point where I now know how to deal with management and difficult peers around me. I know how to deal with those things. I know how to go about those things in order to still get what I need to get done. It has been a long it felt long too. I mean, sometimes a year nowadays don't feel as long, but it's actually it felt long. It definitely did. But now that I have reached that year and I've learned everything I've learned, because the thing is, and also growth comes with learning not to regret your trials that you go through in life. Every hard situation I've been through in life, I don't regret any of it. And the reason why I don't regret any of it is because I got something out of it. You get something out of it. The thing is, when you go through things in life and they're hard, when you work through that, you get something out of it. You know what you get out of that? You get a better version of yourself. You get a more resilient version of yourself. You get a stronger version of yourself. You get a better version of you. And that's the most important thing. And I feel like that's what life's all about. You becoming better. You're growing. All of that is about you. Life is really about you. Your life is about you. Never lose sight of that. Your life is about you. So going through trials in life, it is hope on the other side. The grass is going to be green on the other side. If you're listening today and you're in the middle of one of your hardest seasons in life, I want to remind you that this chapter isn't your entire story. Just like in episode 3, how I went through that extremely embarrassing Facebook situation, that wasn't the end of my life. It wasn't. I've grown from that. I knew what mistakes not to make anymore. Although it may have been old from the time it was revealed, now I know, don't make these mistakes anymore. That helped me be stronger. It gave me another point of view of life. It showed me that people are still going to have a say. It's just up to me whether I'm going to entertain and be affected by that. Don't get me wrong, we're human, we have feelings, but that was on me if I wanted to dwell in it and keep an answer to people or just assume that people knew this. Like, just forget about it. Because they will, especially when it comes to something like social media. Social media, things that go viral doesn't last too long. So that was something that I worked through. That was something that I worked through. And hey, today, no one talks about it. And I don't think anyone does either. But there will come a day when you look back and realize that the season you wanted to escape from was the season that shaped you. Everything that you go through, and it's crazy because sometimes, when you've been doing good in life, those sudden obstacles that come across are the ones that shape you the most because they're so unexpected. We always have to, be ready. Be ready for change. Be ready for something to come across because the thing is, we're always going to grow. We're always growing. No one has stopped growing. You can be 99 years old. There's still something for you to learn about you. You're always growing in life. There's always something for you to learn about yourself because we're all growing. We never stop growing, never. You have to keep going and keep growing. That's just how beautiful life is. We keep growing. We keep getting better. We change. Change is such a beautiful thing. And when it comes to healing and growing, it's also accepting change. Accepting change not as something that's an inconvenience, but it's something that conveniences you. When we look at change as something that is on your side and something that is helpful and something that is benefiting you, you look at life differently. And you understand that the things that you are going through cannot hurt you, but they can only help you. Every trial that you go through in life is something that can help you. Not harm you, but help you. Understanding trials and tribulations doesn't make life easier overnight, but it does change the way we walk through difficult seasons. Your struggle doesn't define you. Your response to your struggle does. So instead of asking, why me? Or why is this happening to me? Or asking, what is this season teaching me? That one question may change the way you see everything. Or just be like, okay. Of course, when we get in certain situations, questioning ourselves doesn't always be the go-to. But when you go through stuff, just start looking at things like, will this matter in a week? Will this matter in a month? Is it really the end of the world? Ask yourself that, or just sit back and think like, is this really the end of the world? Or is this just an inconvenience from now and a growth opportunity? I'd love for you to continue the conversation by listening to the full podcast on Spotify or YouTube. Until next time, remember to protect your peace, continue growing, and take care of your mind.